This is Deepika Patel and welcome to the School Quiz class. So today we will be continue our sample question paper series and we will be discussing the sample question paper 2 of biology. Okay, sample question paper 2 of biology. Right, and in the previous video we have discussed till 2 marks question and the 3 marks question. Right, so if you don't watch that video, so go and watch that video and revise all the questions there, and you can also watch the video of the sample question paper 1. Right, so let's start our today's class, and from the very first question, which is, if this is first question and this is second. Right, so if the egg is not fertilized, then what happens to egg inside the female reproductive part, and does it have a connection with the pregnancy? And also explain the term sexually transmitted disease. So in this fourth question, as you know, for the 4 marks question, you have the question of the case based question, right? So here the case is that if the egg is not fertilized, you know the fertilization process in the human beings, right? So if the egg is not fertilized, then what happens to the female body? The question is particular asking for the female body if the egg is not fertilized, right? So, and in this question, there is second question also, right? You have to explain them the sexually transmitted disease. What are the sexually transmitted disease, right? So let's see how we will write this answer, the answer of this question. So this question in the part 1, this question is asking about the menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle. Okay. So when a girl starts to have a menstrual cycle, so it means that her body is preparing for the reproduction process. It means the sexual maturity, it indicates the female, the girl sexual maturity, right? Sexual maturity. So you know what are the sexual maturity? Means sexual maturation, that at a teenage year, at a certain age, or we can say that at a teenage years, the boys and girls body show some type of show some type of changes. Some changes are same in both the body, and some changes are different in boys and girls. Like boys have the mustache and their voice is cracky or crampy or the heavy. Okay, and girls have the menstrual cycle, their breasts are increased, and both the boys and the girls, their height increased suddenly. So these are some sexual maturation, or we can call the sexual maturity. So hormonal changes are there in both the body, right? So these are the sexual maturity. So menstrual cycle is represents the sexual maturity of a girl, right? So why does menstrual cycle begins to in a girl, and how it begins? So what is relation with the egg and the menstrual cycle? So we will understand those, and let's see how we will write the answer. Okay, here. So you have to firstly tell that, like, if the egg is not fertilized, it leads to menstruation. Okay, firstly you have to tell them directly that if the egg is not fertilized, so it leads to the menstruation. Now you will describe that what is menstruation and how it begins. Okay, because it is for the 4 marks question and it is on the case based. So you have to describe the case. What is the case here behind this, right? So egg lives for about 1 day. So egg is released. You know that every month in a female body the egg is released, right? So since the ovary releases 1 egg every month, here it is written, since the ovary releases 1 egg every month, the uterus also prepares itself every month to receive a fertilized egg. that see, every month egg release from the ovary, right? But the egg does not know na, or the uterus does not know that the sexual intercourse is taken place or not. So it prepares, uterus prepares itself to receive the fertilized egg, to make an environment for the fertilized egg. Okay, because the embryo is planted in the uterus, so uterus preparing itself that our environment to place the embryo, to plant the embryo. So uterus prepares itself, right? That's thus its lining becomes thick and spongy. So its lining, suppose this is a uterus, okay, and this is the ovary, right? And this is the vagina part. So sperm enters into the vagina and reaches to the fallopian tube here. And here the fertilization takes place, and slowly this egg, the fertilized egg, is moved to the uterus, and here it is planted, right? So the lining becomes thick. What are the preparation to the uterus? So the lining of the uterus becomes thick and spongy. This would be required for nourishing the embryo if fertilization had taken place. So this is for the embryo, to nourish the embryo, okay? Because embryo is planted here and it takes the nutrition from the placenta tissue, right? What does this placenta tissue do? It gives the nutrition to the embryo, because embryo is kind of a cell, the bump of a cell, ball of a cell. So all cells require nutrition to grow, right? So these cells, this ball of a cell, receive nutrition from the mother body through the means of the placenta. So the nutrition which is transferring from the mother body to the embryo is transferring from the placenta, right? So this would be required for nourishing the embryo if fertilization had take place. So now the uterus is prepared itself and the lining is made, and this lining are thicky and spongy to place the embryo and to nourish the embryo. Now what happens? Now, however, this lining is not needed any longer. So if the egg is not fertilized, suppose this one, the sexual intercourse is not taken, not happened, not taken place, and the egg is not fertilized. So this lining will be no longer needed, okay, right? So the lining slowly breaks and comes out through the vagina as blood and mucus. So this lining which is made, so it will be released from the uterus through the vagina in the form of a blood. So this cycle takes place roughly every month and is known as menstruation. Suppose when the egg is fertilized, now if the case is that egg is fertilized, so this lining will be helped to embryo to plant, okay? And if egg is not fertilized, so the uterus which make the lining thicky and spongy, so this lining will be released every month. So this is a cycle. This is a kind of cycle which happens in every month. So it usually lasts for about 2 or 8 days. Okay, 2 to 8 days. Some girls have 2 days, some girls have 4 days, some girls have even 8 days also. Okay, so these are the menstruation cycle, right? Here, just check the spelling. I think the spelling is menstruation. Okay, or menstruation not. Just check the spelling. So it usually lasts for about 2 or 8 days, 2 to 8 days, right? Now you have to tell them if egg is fertilized, it leads to pregnancy. So egg is fertilized and it leads to the zygote, then embryo, then fetus, and it is called the pregnancy. So yes, the fertilization of egg is related with the pregnancy. Now you have to tell them that why the fertilization of egg, or how the fertilization of egg is related with the pregnancy. So yes, it is related with the pregnancy. Now you have to tell them what is sexually transmitted disease. So it is the second part of the question. Okay. So the disease which is transmitted through sexual intercourse is known as sexual transmitted disease. See, when a sexual intercourse has happened, so have to be happen in a healthy way. Okay, so there are some diseases that can be happen through the sexual intercourse, and it can be transferred from the male to female body or the female to the female body. So it is known as the sexually transmitted disease. So these include bacterial infections such as gonorrhea, syphilis, and viral infections such as warts and HIV/AIDS. So HIV/AIDS is kind of a viral infection, right? So remember this. And gonorrhea and syphilis is kind of a bacterial infection. In our theory chapter video, we have discussed this disease in detail. So you can watch that video also. We have discussed all the disease in detail, right? So this is how you can conclude the whole answer. Like, firstly, you have to tell them if the egg is not fertilized, then what happened. Then you have to describe all the process, and then you have to tell them how the egg is the fertilized egg is related with the pregnancy or not. Then you have to tell them sexually transmitted disease, and you must give the example. What are the sexually transmitted disease example? Okay, so this is how you can do your answer. You can give your answer in a very particular manner. Okay, right? So let's move to the next question. Yes. So there is another case-based question, that is Rohan. Rohan take two round and yellow seeds of red capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, right? Genotype, and cross them in F2 generation according to the Mendel's experiment. So Rohan take two seeds of round and yellow. So suppose this is one seed and this is second seed. So this is round. This is also round. Okay, and both are yellow. Both are yellow. So the genotype is capital R, capital Y, small y. Capital R, capital Y, small y. Okay. In the F2 generation according to Mendel's. Now you have the question like, in which ratio the offspring of the plant will get? You have to tell them the ratio. What law of which law of inheritance will follow in his observation? So you have read about the Mendel's experiment, right? So Mendel take a pea plant and he do the experiment of the monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross means he taken the one traits only, okay? And in the dihybrid cross, he taken the two traits, like the round and yellow. So these seeds are round and yellow also. So in a shape it is round and in a color it is yellow. So these are the two different traits, okay? And in monohybrid cross, we can take a traits of like if the plant is tall or the short, okay? So we have taken the traits like tall or the short, okay? So these are one trait. So we will see in the F2 generation what ratio will Rohan get according to the Mendel's experiment, right? So let's see. Here. So this type you can write the whole answer. Two round and yellow seeds of you have to write the genotype whatever in the question, right? So if Rohan cross these two seeds, the ratio he will get. So this is the first answer about the ratio. Okay. So we have taken the two seeds, that is round and yellow, and the genotype here. So what are the possible pairs we'll get? You will get, that is capital R and capital Y, capital R and small y, small r and capital Y, and small r and small y. Same we will get in this genotype also. Okay. So these are the possible combination we will get from this genotype, right? So when we will cross them, so we'll take here. So we will cross these two, these two groups. So we will take a peanut square, and we will do the cross. So when this cross, capital R and capital Y, capital R and capital Y. So this formed, right? So this is the formation of all the combination. So now we will see that how many round and yellow seed we will form. See, in the this question is about the question is asking about the F2 generation, right? And in the F1 generation, what happens? In the F1 generation, Mendel's found that all plants were tall. Okay, so tall, and the genotype of the tall is this. Okay, so we have to cross this type, this genotype, which is whatever the Mendel got in the F1 generation. Now we are doing for the F2 generation. So we know that Rohan get round and yellow seed, round and green seed, wrinkled and yellow seed, and wrinkled and green seed. Now we have to tell them what is the ratio of these round and yellow and round and green seeds, wrinkled and yellow and wrinkled and green. So for round and yellow genotype must consist capital R and capital Y. So these are the dominant seeds. Okay, dominant. So see how many capital R and capital Y. At least one capital R and capital Y. So here capital R and capital Y, capital R and capital Y, capital R and capital Y, and capital R. So how many of these? These are 9, right? For round and green genotype must consist at least one R, one capital R, and both both small y, right? So one capital R and both small y, we have 3 for the round and green genotype. For the wrinkled and yellow, we have we must consist at least small r, small double R, and one capital Y. So we have 3 of these. For wrinkled and green must consist all these, or all the small. Okay, so both small R and both small Y. So we have 1. So we have got the ratio of 9:3:1. Okay, so this is the ratio we get in the F2 generation if we do the dihybrid cross. F2 generation if we do the dihybrid cross according to the Mendel's experiment. According to the Mendel's experiment. So this is how you can write the whole answer, because you have to show them that how the Rohan will cross the seeds. Okay, how the genotype will make the combination, and how all this combination will be formed, and what is the ratio behind all the combinations, right? Now what is the second part of the question, that which law is followed in this experiment, in the Rohan's experiment, right? So the law of independent assortment is following. Law of independent assortment is following, which is the second law of the inheritance, which states that in the inheritance of more than one pair of characteristics in a cross simultaneously, the factors which are responsible for each traits are distributed independently to the gametes, right? So here that the law of independent assortment is followed, and the inheritance of more than one pair of characteristics, it means that we have taken the dihybrid cross and we have the characteristic of 2, like the round and the yellow, or the round and the green, if we take, right? So the factors which are responsible for each state, so for the round and the yellow, the factor which are responsible is distributed independently to the gamete. Okay, so it is independently distributed in the gamete, right? So this is the law is following in this experiment, which is the law of independent assortment of the according to the Mendel's experiment. Okay, in the F2 generation, right? So this is all the questions of the 4 marks, and especially you have to revise all these type of questions of chapter 9, because this question might be tricky and confusing also. So you have to revise them again and again, and that's it. This is all your sample question paper 1 and sample question paper 2 video, and hope you like it, and hope that some questions will come into your examination. Okay, right? So let's end this video here, and let's end this class here, and we'll meet in our next class with a very new video. Okay, so let's end the class, and hope you like it, and just revise them again and again. Okay, all the videos and all the questions. It will be helpful in your examination. So thank you for joining class. Thank you again. Thank you.